Thank you, Sally. That's is the most positive cloudy forecast I've ever seen. My idea today is to talk to you folks about the way we can leverage the ongoing battle against card fraud in the UK to increase our revenues and our profitability. The war against payment card fraud has been ongoing for a while, and PCI, or Payment Card Industry Compliance, is a set of regulations that all merchants must adhere to when handling card payments. PCI may not be may not be enforceable by law, but you would imagine that the threat of fines from £3,000 to £60,000 or the prospect of losing merchant services would be sufficient deterrent. However, we are losing this battle in the UK. In recent years, card fraud has reached its highest ever levels in 2022, putting us at the unenviable position of number 2 across Europe for card fraud. And here's some numbers for you to think about. Over £700 million in unauthorised and fraudulent losses. Card fraud is now responsible for well over 80% of all UK card fraud, and over 4 million credit card fraud offences were happened in 2022 alone. So we looked at this and we decided that within our portfolio we needed to bring in a key weapon to fight this battle, and we brought in PCI for IPEX Cloud, which we launched in late 2022. Now, there's two key elements of this product which help your customers make sure they can deliver security where it matters. First of all, we have DTMF masking, which makes sure that any digits that are entered at the point that they're entering card information are not captured, they're stripped out of the call. And secondly, from an agent point of view, we make sure that all information is hidden so it can't be written down and used at some other point. But if you're asking yourself the question, which many people will be, why does this matter to me? We've got to consider the fact that from one-man band through to multinational corporations, if they're taking card payments over the phone, they have to comply with PCI. There's no option here. And if you also consider that, according to research, up to 90% of smaller UK businesses may still not comply with PCI regulations. And I think that represents a great opportunity to all of us to get out there and increase recurring revenue and profits. I've spoken to a number of customers over recent weeks. In fact, we've recently put out a survey to around about 25 partners, and it's surprising to find out that most of them thought that pause and resume of call recording was actually PCI compliant, and it's absolutely not. So if you're talking to customers, I would just reiterate the fact that stop-start call recording is not the answer when it comes to PCI. And as I said previously, your customers do risk significant fines or even losing the merchant services for non-compliance. And as I say, that applies to everybody taking card payments. So when we started looking for a partner for this particular service, one thing that was clear was that there was a number of very costly options out there in the market today, which might account for why so many of these smaller businesses are still willing to run the gauntlet when it comes to either pause and resume of recording, or quite frankly have no security in place at all. So we decided we had to make a change, and we're working with our friends at Atmoso. And our commercials are based on a very simple principle of a monthly per SIP channel cost, along with a monthly per site charge for the payment portal. And the key thing is, unlike some of the competitive solutions that we saw out there, we don't have any additional costs around setup, transactions during the month, or indeed the number of agents using the service. I think a bit of a common theme, as you've seen from some of the other presentations today from Will and Ed talking about integration, it was key to us that if we're going to bring a PCI service to you, our channel, and for your end user customers, we must have a good level of integration. So on the screen here, you can see the list of the 11 PSPs or payment service providers that we integrate to today. But the key point here is this list is continually being updated. We've seen a number of names added to this list just in the last 6 months. And we always have the option, if you do come across a more niche payment service provider, we can offer bespoke development for an extra cost. The other good news for us today is we already have a number of live customers across Lloyds, Stripe, SagePay, WorldPay, and PayPal. So to summarise, and I'll hold my hands up here, I do get the Mr. Obvious Statement of the Year prize, but hopefully you'll agree with such a clear and obvious need for this kind of product. and the opportunity for this service, adding PCI to your customers where they're taking card payments can dramatically help to increase your margin performance whilst also increasing your recurring monthly revenues. And I think from an end user perspective, some key points here. We've got a fully de-scoped PCI service. I've talked about it. I reiterate again, compliance isn't optional. If they're taking card payments, they've got to be compliant. Our service, as I said, has been designed to be cost effective, have minimal impact from that perspective, whilst helping you to drive your increased revenues. And we also ensure that we've got integration to the leading payment service providers out there in the market today. And remember, folks, unlike some products, we've done our research, and 100% of the time, PCI for IPEX Cloud works all of the time. That's all from me, the Ant-Man, reporting from the front line of the battle against payment card fraud. Now it's over to our head, our international correspondent, with some breaking news.
Stay classy, stay pragma, stay sexy. Thank you.